The Society of Composers and Lyricists is the most important organization of composers and songwriters active in the creation of music for films, television, theater, and video games in the United States. It is the last in a long line of composer groups whose goals have always been solidarity, fellowship, and mutual respect for all those who make music for visual media. The first such organization was the Screen Composers Association, founded in 1945 as an offshoot of the American Society of Music Arrangers. The SCA boasted among its membership virtually every important composer of the golden age of Hollywood, including Max Steiner, Miklos Rozsa, Alfred Newman, Franz Waxman, and Dmitri Tiomkin. Concerned that ASCAP paid scant attention to music written for films, the Screen Composers Association eventually forced the Performing Rights Society to accept composers of so-called background music, a key financial decision that has affected the lives and fortunes of thousands of composers since that early era. David Raksin, chairman of SCA's Agenda Committee, championed the cause of a guild, and a few years later, it became a reality. At a landmark meeting held December 4, 1953, at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, more than 150 composers voted unanimously to form the Composers Guild of America. In 1955, it added lyricists, and the National Labor Relations Board certified the retitled Composers and Lyricists Guild of America as the recognized bargaining agent in dealing with the studios. Leith Stevens was its first president, David Raksin its second. It took years and the threat of a strike for the producers to come to the table. But they did, and the result was solid contracts specifying minimum payments for scores and songs, health insurance, and pension plans for all members. The CLGA even sponsored a now legendary evening at the Hollywood Bowl in September 1963, featuring its most celebrated composers conducting their greatest works. But in the 1970s, when the Composers Guild, with Elmer Bernstein at the helm, asked for publishing rights for its members' work, the producers balked and refused to negotiate. Guild members sued the studios and television networks, a class action case that dragged on for most of the decade. The studios outspent the composers, who were forced to settle the case in 1978. By 1982, the Guild was dead. Its successor was the Society of Composers and Lyricists, formed in 1983 with some 300 composers and songwriters active in Hollywood scoring, including such luminaries as Henry Mancini, Jerry Goldsmith, Lalo Schifrin, and Alan and Marilyn Bergman. They attempted to reorganize as a union, but the National Labor Relations Board ruled them independent contractors, not employees, in 1984. Today, the SCL boasts thousands of members in more than 80 countries around the world, with chapters in Los Angeles, New York, and Nashville. Active in education and support, it is the widely acknowledged home of all those who are involved in media music making. The outgrowth of 75 years of efforts by composer and songwriter activists to build a community united not only by talent, but by a genuine concern for each other.